Hi folks, Bug Out Brad here. I'm just going to do a fairly quick video for you on some winter boots because winter's coming on and the socks to go with them. So just hang on 1 second and I'll bring you into them one at a time, not in any particular order, but just to show you some interesting things about them, and I even have a little bit of a rabbit to pull out of my hat for a couple occasions. Hang on a sec. Okay, we'll just start off with the Mickey Mouse boots. A lot of people know about these things already, especially the American Army. I think the Canadian Forces might use them as well. Um, they're a ton of fun, and they weigh a ton. Uh, I've used them maybe once or twice for extreme cold, but I've never walked the distance in them, and I don't think I'd want to. I just made these extra little inserts for them, just in case the bottoms, the original ones, get damp. So you could always pull them out and put another set in. So that's your Mickey Mouse. These are the extra insulated ones for the Arctic, with the little valve on the side for airborne guys, I guess, so it doesn't swell up when they're on flight type of thing, so you can just release it to let the air out, because these things are sealed and they're just packed with wool. So they're pretty awesome. Here's the regular, I guess, infantry type boots. They're not as packed with wool, not as warm. I have used these these are my brother's. I have a pair, but I couldn't find them. So these are my brother's, but these boots, I've used them for hunting, for just sort of still hunting and sitting in a watch type of thing. And my feet did get cold, and it was my socks. My socks got a little bit damp before we went out, and yeah, once I got out in the field the next day, I changed my socks around when I walked out because they got hot in the truck, sort of driving in and stuff. And I was fine for the rest of the day. So these are great. They're not as heavy as the big guys there, the winter white ones, but they'll do the trick, and they're good for wet weather. What I do is I keep them in my truck as like a spare pair of boots, just in case, you know, one of those bug out type things. And now we got the Canadian mucklucks, the famous Canadian mucklucks. They weigh a ton, super insulated, super warm. They have this, the trick with them is this double wool booty. So this booty inside here, I'll show you here, this can be pulled out and turned inside out to dry. So that's the trick with them. And I'll show you another trick with these in a sec. But yeah, the Canadian Forces are familiar with these. I don't know if they still use them or if they're changing them over. I'm not really sure. But they're pretty awesome. The only thing that I don't like about them is they have absolutely no ankle support. So if you're a young, strong soldier, well, then you got no problem with that. I was just lucky to get a pair in this kind of condition. They're usually totally destroyed. They actually had the wrong booties in them. They were a size too big, which was the ones I just showed you. But that turned out to be my good luck, and I'll tell you about that in a sec. But yeah, so I fortunately got the right size for them. They were labeled wrong. They were brand new, and they said size 6. Well, it was just, of course, it was a 9 upside down. So I got lucky with those. But it's something, just part of my collection, by the way. I don't know if I'd ever wear them for anything, because they are heavy. I think they're the heaviest pair of boots here, and I have some serious work boots here that are heavy. But so that's the Canadian mucklucks. The next guys, I'll just show you these work boots quickly. These are just really heavy duty Dakota work boots. I've only wore them once. I got them through my work for free, so I had a little extra money on my credits there, so I just got them. But to wear them, they're not too bad for giant size boots with safety toes, you know, green patch and all that sort of thing. But to wear them around, I don't know, there was guys used to wear them on the roof doing service work on HVAC equipment, and because I did that for a maintenance job for years. But wearing them on the roof, I probably wouldn't wear them that much. I don't know what situation I'd wear those in, to be honest with you, but they are heavy duty work boots. I typically wore in really cold weather with snow on the roofs and stuff, and at work, I'd wear these Teras. I had a pair of these, the original version of these, and they literally wore them out. They're kind of big and cumbersome for driving and that type of thing for vehicles, but when you're on the roof in the snow, they're excellent. They have a really well-made insulation bootie inside them that's removable, and so I had no problem with them. I thought they were really great. These Teras, I never had too many problems with Tera boots. Actually, they've all been pretty good for me. So the next ones up are these just, I'm not going to call them cheap because nothing is nowadays. These Kamiks, or sorry, Baffins. My Kamiks are somewhere else. These Baffin boots, these are just the ones, you know, you jump in and out of your car with. They're not like a really serious cold weather boot. But the one thing you can do with them, which I did, tricks them out a little bit, is you can put in a really heavy pair of socks. And I bought them a little bit oversized for that. So I'll show you that when I do the sock bit here at the end of the video. But and yeah, these again used to be in my truck, so I had a sealed pair of socks that I vacuum sealed just for emergency purposes, so they didn't get wet or whatever. But they got a removable bootie that's very thin. They do not have a whole lot of thickness to the bottom for cold transfer. So again, they're just a fairly decent boot to jump in and out of the truck with, sort of thing. But yeah, they're not too bad for an I bought these on sale. As a matter of fact, just about everything I own is bought on sale. But yeah, they're not too bad a boot. And here we go, back to Baffins again. These are just some kind of monsters that I would use probably for ice fishing. I've worn them once. They're a little snug, but the bootie does crush down in them, so I've been told. So we'll see what happens. I just bought them one size over, so hopefully, and I could just get a regular wool sock in there, so hopefully hopefully that won't be too bad. I can use them because I did have, oh, I didn't bring them out. I had another pair of boots that I used to use for ice fishing, and they were the other guys, the Kamiks, I think. And my feet got cold in them, so you know, because of the lining and whatnot. These here have those pretty big, huge, thick, expensive sponge type lining in them, so we'll see how that goes. The one thing, and I'll show you my little trick in advance, you can replace the booties with something like this, and this double wool bootie, it just can't be beat. That's all there is to it. And so I guess that's going to lead up to my little trick, right? These guys. Now these guys are for cold weather, and that's a set of Baffins. I think it's, I forget the name of the darn things, but yeah, Control Max. I was going to say Climate, but it's Control Max. I preferred these instead of the Snow Monsters because of these eyelets here. The way they tie on, it's very extremely strong, whereas the Snow Monsters, it's nylon and leather and has a little hook, which they had a problem with the eyelet popping out, but I think that was just because they didn't put a washer on the back of it with a batch of them. But it goes like that with boots, right? You can have a bad batch. I've seen guys on the internet that had a problem with the stitching, where it was all over the place, so whoever put it together didn't do a great job. Now, the trick. These things have an extremely expensive liner in them, which is, it's not a bad liner, but it is foam, so it does create an air gap and everything, so that's great. But if it gets moist, you're kind of done to put that by a fire, or get it even close to one, because it's just going to melt, which I've seen YouTubers have that problem with them. But if you replace them with a pair of these babies, let's see if I can get that in there quickly. You do a quick replacement and put a real set of wool liners in there. Of course, you got to muck with it a little bit to get your foot in there, but there is your trick. These can be pulled out and dried. The fire, you can get them close to a fire to get them warm and dried, and you can also put them in your backpack or on your toboggan or your punk sleigh or whatever, and they don't take up a whole pile of room to flatten those out, whereas a spare set of these guys would be huge. But yeah, so there's my little rabbit out of the old hat trick with that. And last but not least, for the winter lineup, and this isn't, you know, I have more boots than this. I know that's crazy, but yeah. These are Neos. These are the ones without the cleats on the bottom. They have ones for ice as well. So I just bought these. I put them on and wore them. It's interesting because they're not really heavy, but if you add a boot to them, which that's what they're made for, basically, if you add a boot to them, I'll just get my socks out of the way here, which I've done with some HEL Hansen, relatively inexpensive boots. They're not, you know, the highest of quality. It's actually nice leather, but and it's not the most insulated boot, but it does have a booty inside that you can dry and everything else. Now, the trick to these things is, though, you can put a regular hiking boot inside them, and they're extremely waterproof, actually. But my regular hiking boots, which I'll pull out for the next bit of the video, you can get them inside there. I just like these because they slipped in so nicely. I just wish they had made the toe on these boots a little broader, but these boots go in there nicely because you can see the toe taper here. So I figured that was a bit of a winner, because you could pull these out to go walking in someplace and have these on your sled. Have the kind of inexpensive boots, which you could also trick up with a set of those liners, the wool ones, or just change your socks, right, type of thing. But you could just put these on when you got to camp, sort of thing, and keep your feet warm and maintain a nice light boot to go to hike in with, right, if you had to snowshoe or something like that. But yeah, again, I wish they would have made that toe a little broader or a little rounder, and also a little higher, actually, from inside, because if you put a pair of Keens or something like that and have the little toe cap on them, they won't fit in here. But fortunately, my the boots that I bought recently, the Georgia boots I have, a lot of people like them. They're, you know, the closest thing you can get to custom boots, and I'll show them to you. But they fit in it, so, you know, I got lucky. And hang on just a sec, and I'll go through some socks with you and then show the other type of boots. Okay, let's get back at it, folks. So the sock lineup is really interesting, a couple of them. Everybody kind of buys the what do you call them, darn tough socks in the States, and I'm sure they're a great product. I don't have any, but everybody kind of promotes them, and I'm not promoting anything here, by the way, any of these boots or anything. I'm just this is just stuff I use. Yeah, I'm waiting for the call from Nike, dreaming about it every day. Yeah, just kidding. But I just wanted to show you these JB Field socks. You can see there's like 3 pairs of them here. These are the GX Hikers. I've never been able to wear a pair out. And they do have, what is it, 74% merino wool. I don't know if I can get that on the camera. 74%, so it's actually a higher wool content than the darn tough socks. So just saying, they're made here in Canada. There's another pair. These are like a military type of version. They just marked these at $5. I don't know, these are like $10 socks plus, but I got them at Brantford Surplus, by the way. I'll mention them because I love them. They're fantastic. They actually called me to tell me they had more of these socks in because we asked about them. And except there's a little price change. They're $6.99 now. There was a little mistake, and I was laughing because, yeah, these socks are 60% merino wool and 40% nylon, if I can get that on the camera. So yeah, they made a little mistake, all right, but they're awesome. They will pill and fuzz and everything else because basically they're made for comfort. These, not like the comfort's there, but they're tougher because of the nylon content, right? These socks here, this was a military contract, 60-40, but it almost looks like to me like they were made by JB Fields, maybe even for another company. I'm not quite sure, but I got those at a military surplus store. And then of course your Durays, they are army socks. Now these are a little bit itchy, but if you're sensitive wool, yeah, I get it, you have a problem with them. But other than that, these will wear thin quickly too, but they're designed for that. They're you know, military socks, so the boys just get another pair, right? Yeah, 75% yeah, Wayne wool, 25% nylon, so of course that will wear out, of course, right? But you know, you just pull on another pair of socks, right? Chuck them into the bin. The other JB Fields here, now these are interesting, and I'll show you what I do with those. These will, yeah, they'll fall apart, they'll pill and everything, but they are like, what is it, something ridiculous. They're like 96% merino wool, so I don't know if you can see that there, but yeah, so these are like super comfortable, and if you have a problem with wool, you won't know you have wool on when you've got a pair of these things on. But what I do is I combine these with these socks. Now these socks are pretty special. You can see they're giant size, right? In width and everything. These are made on a machine from the 1800s by a company right here in Ontario, down in London, Ontario, called Purple Moose. These are like 100% wool socks, and on the inside, as you can see, they're not terry towel, which I'll show you in the next pair of socks. They're not terry towel, they're just straight wool, like a wool sweater, but I've never seen a thicker pair of wool socks commercially sold in my life. But what I do is I combine these with those, so that if you have a problem with these being itchy, and these are huge on your feet anyways, on my feet, so when you combine these two together and you put them in, like, say, this type of boot, which is oversized for me, you turn these into a real cold weather winter, right? So that's always a great idea. But yeah, again, Purple Moose socks, they're fantastic. There were such nice people to deal with. I bought some during the pandemic, and they sent me an extra pair of their fancy merino wool socks. Just fantastic folks to deal with. And yeah, can't say enough about them. But the next ones, these I believe are JB Fields or Ice something or other socks. They're super thick. They're the thickest type of socks you'll ever buy, but they are terry toweled inside, so if you can see that, which is okay. It makes it for a very thick sock and creates a great air gap and everything, but nothing really beats the knitted wool without the terry towel. I don't know why that is, but nothing seems to beat that for warmth. And now, last but not least, the famous, to me anyways, LL Bean rag wool socks. I don't care where they're made, offshore or wherever, it doesn't matter to me, because these, I think, are one of the most comfortable socks I've ever worn. They don't itch my feet at all, and like at all. And I don't even know that the yeah, what does it say, 77% merino wool, so 21% stretch nylon, 2% lycra. I'll see if I can get that on the camera for you. Hopefully you can see that. But yeah, and they're not cheap, folks. They're HEL Bean socks. I don't think, again, I've never paid full price. I've always bought these on sale. So there you have it. Some really good socks for a lineup. And, you know, Canadian made stuff too. Yeah, Canadian made, Canadian made, Canadian made, Canadian made. And even these military socks, these are Canadian made. Yeah, made in Canada. So, and these are made in Canada. So there you go. Out of all the socks on the table, except for these socks, are made right here in Canada. So if you're looking for socks, there you go. I hope that helps anybody out that's has a problem with wool or anything like that. So what I'll do now is I'll show you those other boots I was talking about, the Georgia boots, and just give you a quick one on them because, well, the reason I bought them wasn't because some of the YouTubers were talking about them. I was looking at them a long time before them. It was just the closest thing I could find to a regular leather boot. Now, the reason these bags are like this, it's not because I'm crazy and loved boots in a bag. It's to actually grab to go out the door. So let me just shut the camera off for a second and I'll flip it back on, so stay with me and I'll pull them out of the bags. Okay, so you're probably thinking, what the heck does this guy got 2 pairs of these Georgia boots for? And I'll tell you. And before I do though, I just want to show you these. I forgot all about them. I had them inside the boots. These are a Canadian Forces issue type of thing for wicking socks and a heavy wool sock. So there you go. I thought I'd show you those just to finish off the sock pile. But okay, so I have 2 pairs of these because the reason I bought them was because this pair here is just basically a pair of summer hiking boots. The only thing I've heard people talk about is the liner having problems, falling apart. Otherwise, the boots are really good. They're the closest thing you can get to custom boots, you know, and I got these for a really good price on Amazon, believe it or not. I don't know if they're just trying to get rid of them or what. The first thing you want to do to them, though, is put in those bulletproof laces type of thing. I 80 inches too. They don't even take a standard 72. It's like a 78 or something, weird size. So I just got the long laces for it. You want to get those. I got them for both boots. So these ones here are supposed to not be insulated, and that's why I bought them for summer wear. And they're made in the Dominican. These ones aren't the ones that are made in China. I don't know if you can see that, but they're made in the Dominican, both of them. And so these were supposed to be my summer type of hiking boots. Well, not hot weather summer, but you know what I mean. Bushwhacking in the bush. You could wear them for hunting when it wasn't too bad out and that sort of thing. That's why I bought them, because I wanted a pair of heavy leather boots, taller boots than hiking boots, because hiking boots are great. I got hiking boots. They're fantastic for trails and whatnot. But if you're bush bashing or still hunting through the bush, moving through the bush, dogging it with for deer, you know, pushing deer through the bushes stuff, you don't know where you're going to step next. You could go into something 2 inches or 10 inches. So that's why I bought these. And I'm slowly breaking them in. And I'll tell you a trick. When you're breaking these boots in, you can tie them tight about up to here. Well, where they start to hook up, I guess. Snug them up, snug, and then tie them loose around this great big thick tongue. Now this tongue is fairly heavily insulated. Oh, sorry, they're flying right over top of me. So it does create a little bit of an ankle bunch, but the trick is just tie them fairly loose around the top hat, and when you get to the top, then pull them tight. So that's kind of like, looks weird, but not when you got them on. But leave this part loose when you're breaking them in, because I'll guarantee you they will bother your ankle with this big bunchy tongue. I have like a bit of a, I don't know what they call it, like a bone spur or a calcium thing on my ankle that was created by a pair of work boots that were no good. And so my little trick is I put one of these little socks on my ankle, sort of like, it's just about the middle of my ankle, so this covers it anyways. So I put that on for a little bit of cushioning, and the last time I went for a walk in these, I didn't feel anything, where I could feel it a little bit for a while, but now that's pretty well gone. So I'm hoping, you know, because I don't think that little calcium deposit on my ankle is ever going to go away, but who knows. Now the second pair of boots, I bought these because and I bought them half size bigger because they were for winter, because they were advertised as having 200 gram thinsulate. It says right on 200 gram thinsulate, if you could see that, right? But you won't you won't be able to see it in the video, but this tongue is like just, there's no insulation whatsoever behind it. This tongue is as thick as you can get. Like, there is definitely insulation behind this tongue. And inside the boot, there's all kinds of insulation. It's fairly thick. These boots that are advertised with 200-gram insulation have absolutely no insulation. And I thought that was really weird. Well, there's a crack in one of the eyelets. But they were advertised as being insulated. It says right on them. These ones here, it doesn't. So I bought them a half size bigger, thinking, well, to wear a heavier pair of socks and have a little bit of insulation. Well, if I was going to do it all over again, I would have bought it the other way around. Used these for summer, bought my regular size, and these for winter with a half size bigger. So I don't know what's going on with that. When I was online, there was people saying that these have no insulation whatsoever. Meanwhile, they're advertised as insulation. Maybe that's why I got them so cheap. And here's the real kicker. So if you put these boots together, I hope the camera can see this. This is a thinner boot than this boot. This boot is a 9.5. This boot is a 9. So again, I can't afford any more boots. But I would have bought these. I'm just fortunate that I can stick a fairly heavy pair of socks in them for, I guess, because they're not insulated. These I can just put regular wool socks in, but these I can actually get a little bit thicker on them, but it's probably because there's no insulation in them, right? I mean, yeah, it doesn't feel like there's anything in there at all, and the tongue, for sure there isn't anything in there. So we'll see what happens, but the real great part is about both of them. Geez, I took them in the they fit inside those Neos, just. Like, even though this one's, you know, a little bit longer, being a 9.5, it still just fits inside the Neos. So I can wear these with a good pair of wool socks, or, you know, yellow bean, the beauties, or a pair of these wicking socks. Actually, I can fit those in them too as well without too much problems with the toes. They do fit absolutely inside these other boots. That's why their socks are actually in there. And I just have regular socks in those bags. And those funny bags I had, so those, like I said, they're boot bags to just grab and go out the door. That's why, and they have a whole bunch of socks and little bits and pieces in them, and extra, the old laces that came with them, brand new, are in there, and that sort of thing. But yeah, so I don't know if that wraps it up or what. Yeah, I probably got more boot stuff to show you, but hang on, we'll just wrap this one up, and bear with me for one more sec. So there it is, folks, my big boot video. I'll probably do another video on, like, I have hunting boots and that sort of thing, and love to show you all that stuff too, because it's interesting. Hopefully this wasn't too boring for you to handle. I really appreciate folks watching my videos. I'm sorry I didn't get one out last week. It's difficult with time of year because I can't even get out in the bush to do any stuff just out in the nature, because it's hunting season. So there's hunting going on everywhere. One of the guys I hunt with got one, so that's all great. Way to go, Fred. But yeah, I really appreciate folks watching my videos, and I'll try and get you another one out there. I took advantage of today because Southern Ontario today is just gorgeous. It's way above seasonal, and I even see bugs flying around, so, which is normal around here. But yeah, and I caught the sunlight outside, because the videos inside are kind of, you know, they're hard to do. I got to set up a bunch of lights and stuff. I got to get better lighting and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully the stuff I use in the garage to work on the vehicles, I can use those lights. But thanks very much, folks, and have yourself a fantastic day and a fantastic work week. Take care.